One of the main factors of success in language learning is consistency. That is how often you spend time with the language. The more time you spend with it in an enjoyable and effective way, the more success you'll have in your target language. That said, in an ideal world, you would like to spend every single day with your language, immersed in content you love to read and listen to. But sometimes reality gives us a different story. Sometimes things in life just happen and they take either your time or motivation to do things, and you enter a rut. Which, if you have noticed my absence from social media and YouTube, that is my problem right now. I've been getting into a rut not only with YouTube and video making, but with language learning in general. So I wanted to share a few tips, at least a few things I've done to kind of get myself back into rhythm with language learning, and hopefully that'll help you too. Now, the first tip is to start with the lowest of goals. And what that means is to set up bite-sized things that you can do with your language. So it's not something like, I want to spend 30 minutes with language, or 1 entire hour, or 2 hours with language, or I want to study this grammar book, or I want to go ahead and read 3 articles. Because when you're in a rut, you are not doing anything, and from not doing anything to committing yourself to spend 30 minutes with language, it can be hard. So to get you started from zero, you need to gradually enter back into your rhythm. So what it's best to do actually is to take bite-sized goals, like spend 10 minutes with the language, or read half an article, or maybe 3 paragraphs or something, or read 1 rule, something like this that can be easily achievable. Or things like Pomodoro timers are great for this because they really help you get back into the rhythm. When you set a 25-minute timer, you just have those 25 minutes to do something. So that gives you a short amount of time, a time limit, a time frame where you're committing that time with the language, but everything else you can just do any other activity that is not related to language learning. So things like short timers, it can be even shorter than 25 minutes. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just anything. Every little thing that you can do with the language is going to help you. For example, you know that I use Link in language learning. That's the main app I use. I don't really like language learning apps in general, like Duolingo or Lingodeer. I don't use those apps. I don't think those apps are useful. But if there's one language learning app that I use, that's Link. And that's the main way I learn languages right now as an independent learner. But with Link, one of the things that really makes me stick to that environment is that they have daily goals. Daily goals are basically a series of links. That is, when you look up a word and you save it, and you need to reach a minimum amount of links per day to keep a streak, much like Duolingo. But the thing is, with Link, you do this by saving words. So you need to read something and actively save words. And that's how you keep track of your daily studying, basically. So with Link, when I was going from 0 links, because as you know on Instagram, I lost my 100+ day streak that I had on Link. And that was pretty devastating. So I started back from like 0-day streak and 0 links, and I wanted to get back into my rhythm. I usually do something like 50 links every day, but going from 0 to 50 daily links is impossible. So I set the lowest bar that they have, which is 13. And 13 links are pretty easy to reach. At least in Korean, for me, it's still easy to get to 13 links after reading like 4 paragraphs or something. So that's pretty easy, and that's super achievable, and it gives you a feeling of success. So keep that bar really low. Most of the times though, the 13 links a day thing is really just a trick that I do to my brain to convince it to start reading in another language or listening to something in another language, because the reality is when I start my 13 links, I want to double that. So I want to go to 26, because when you reach 26, there's like a little pop-up that says, oh yay, great, you've doubled your daily goal or something. So it motivates you to go beyond that. And usually it goes something like this. I start reading something, do the 13 links, carry on reading, and then at the end of the article I've done like 50 links or something. So the low bar of success also allows you to quickly go over it, and it's more a brain trick than anything, because when you keep your success bar really low and really easy to achieve, it's also really easy to overachieve that and feeling a huge sense of success and motivation that will help you get back in track. This idea of keeping goals simple and easy to achieve actually reminds me of a book called Tiny Habits. I don't know if you've read it, but it's a great book, and that reminds me a lot of what I'm talking about with language learning right now. And the ideas that are in that book can be super easily transposed in the language learning world to help you make language learning a habit rather than some kind of chore that you force yourself into doing every single day. I think I'll actually make a video about tiny habits and how they can be used in the language learning world. So if you're interested, just tell me and I'll make that video in the next few weeks. And the next tip, and again, I want to say that these are not just like super hacky tips and stuff. These are really common sense kind of things, but it's good to remind us about that as well. Now, the second tip, as I was gonna say, is to change things up a little bit and shake things up. Instead of doing your routine, your daily routine with language learning and like doing a mini story and then listening to this article and then watching that podcast, try to shake things up. That can really help when you're in a rut and you need to get out of it. Because when you do the same thing every single day and you listen to the same content or read the same book every single day, it can bore you out after a while. So it's always good to change things up. Maybe even change the language that you're studying. If you feel like you're feeling a little bored with that language, there's no shame in just picking up another language or refreshing one of your other languages, which is actually what I've done with Korean. I've been studying Korean for the past 8 months or so, and I got into a rut and I was thinking, should I do Korean again, or should I pick another language? Should I improve the other languages that I know? So what it came to at the end, I decided to still learn Korean and improve my Korean, because I've gotten to a point where my Korean knowledge is something like an intermediate level, so I can bring in other languages as well. And that's what I've done. I decided to improve my Russian, which again is at an intermediate level. Same with my Japanese. So I changed up my routine a little bit and I started incorporating Japanese and Russian together with Korean. So every day I do all 3 languages and I do a little bit of each. For Russian, I found a great TV series called Kuchnia, and I've been watching that because I also found on the internet all the transcriptions for all the 3 series. They have like 3 series with 20 episodes each, total of 60 episodes, and a Russian lady took the time to write out all the episode, all the subtitles. So I have that in a Word format. I bring that onto Link and I watch the TV series on YouTube. So that's kind of how I'm doing Russian. I also enjoy reading news in Russian, so that's what I do, as well as watching some TV. I've been watching some shows, like late night shows, but in Russian, so that's pretty cool. Still can't really understand a lot of spoken Russian, so that is pretty hard for me to understand. They speak super fast, but when it comes to news or TV series, I can understand pretty much, I would say. TV series like 60%, while with news, written news, I can understand 80%, 85%, so that's pretty good. With Japanese, I'm sticking to the link mini stories because it's really hard for me to find content I like in Japanese, which is strange because a lot of people like to watch anime and read manga and stuff like that, but I'm not a huge manga anime fan. I'm more like a TV show, but not TV series. So TV shows like variety shows, stuff like that. That is what I like to watch. And there are a lot of variety shows in Japan as well, but it's really hard to find those with Japanese subtitles. At least not the captions that they put on, like the huge captions. I mean like an actual transcript of what they're saying, like every single word. That's what I like to have. And it's really hard to find those for Japanese variety shows. And I found like a couple YouTube videos that were subtitled, so I imported them onto Link, but it's still hard. So I'm sticking to the mini stories for now. Maybe listening to some podcasts, but it's harder in Japanese for me to find good content than Korean. It's super easy to find it in Korean. But anyway, if you know some TV shows that have Japanese transcripts on them, that'll be awesome, really. Also, the account Study Notepad on Instagram told me that she likes to use video games in her language learning, and I found that amazing. She told me that if she wants to change things up a little bit when it comes to language learning, she likes to play video games in her target language. So that's amazing because she's using things that she likes to do, but she's applying that to her target language. And that's always a great idea when it comes to language learning. Pick up something that you like to do. So if you like, in my case, I like to study music and I'm learning the bass right now. And I wanted to know something about music theory. So I did that and I looked that up in Russian and I looked it up in Korean and I read about music theory, but in my target language. So it's always great when you're coupling things that you like to do, things that you would like to know with a target language, because it's basically killing two birds with one stone. Of course, it's not something easy. If you're at like a super beginner level, that's not something easy to do. But if you're at a more intermediate-ish, maybe upper beginner as well, intermediate, up to an advanced learner, then it's great. Expect not to understand 100% of what you're reading or listening to when it comes to these kinds of things, especially if you're an upper beginner or intermediate learner. But trust me, keep on doing that until you get to a more comfortable advanced level, and that'll be great for your success. So try it out, find new resources, find new things to read, to watch, to listen to play in your target language. By the way, I noticed that we got to 100 subscribers, and that's a huge milestone for me. So I just wanted to thank everyone who subscribed and encourage those who are not subscribed yet from the YouTube studio that you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed to do so and enjoy content. That really motivates me to put out as much content as possible, even though I entered a rut in like the last few months. But hopefully I'm slowly getting back on track and making new content for you guys. I'm also trying to do different things with the channel. I'm trying to organize some live content, some live language conversations. So if you're curious about that, check out my Instagram for updates, because I wanna encourage every one of you to be a part of this channel and to be a part of my videos as interviews or live content and something like that. Also, to celebrate the 100 subscribers, I want to do something that you guys would like to see, and I've been thinking of stuff like maybe a Q&A or a live Q&A. I have really no idea. I just want to make something that you guys would enjoy watching, that you would like to watch. So either DM me on Instagram or write a comment below about what you would like to see, and I'll make sure to do that as well. So again, thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for watching this video. Again, don't forget to like this one, subscribe it to give me even more motivation if you would like to, and we'll see you in the next video.